We're less than 300 people away from 42,000 subscribers here on the Lakers Report. How quickly can we get there? That's all up to you. But if you want to join the channel for nonstop Lakers coverage all year long during the NBA season and outside of it, hit that red subscribe button down below and join the Laker Nation family here at Chat Sports. You're watching the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. We are locked and loaded with another loaded show coming your way. And Zion Williamson, the drama around him in New Orleans continues to percolate all throughout the NBA rumors atmosphere. And let's be real, anytime a big name player across the NBA isn't happy with their current destination, there is a chance they end up in Los Angeles because the Lakers, the most iconic brand in the NBA and probably the number one franchise in which players want to hop on board with. As for Zion, it's really been a tumultuous last couple of years for him since getting drafted number 1 overall out of Duke. Everybody thought he was going to take the NBA by storm. When he's been on the court, he's been really good. The big problem with Zion, his lack of staying on the court because of all these injuries on top of the weight issues. As for this season, he has not played due to a nagging foot injury, was expected to come back at some point. Right now, it's looking more and more unlikely that he makes his return this year. Now, all of these Zion Williamson rumors have really picked up over the last couple of days, given what CJ McCollum had said during the NBA All-Star Weekend, when he was asked on the set of TNT if he's spoken with Zion. I haven't had conversations with him directly, CJ McCollum said. I've spoken with some people close to him and look forward to sitting down with him sooner than later. I know about as much as you do right now, but I'm going to get to the bottom of it. That right there sent off red flags and flares among a lot of people in NBA circles. CJ McCollum is considered to be a stand-up citizen across the NBA. He is always involved in the NBA's Players Association, leading the charges in that regard, and he's looked at as a team leader. He worked with the Portland Trail Blazers to get traded to the New Orleans Pelicans because he saw that core of Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Devontae Graham, as well as some of the other young pieces on that roster, and a player like Jonas Valanciunas, and wanted to get sent to New Orleans. But he gets traded there and Zion doesn't reach out to him. JJ Redick, his former teammate, when speaking about Zion, took exception with that. There's a responsibility that you have as an athlete when you play a team sport to be fully invested. You're fully invested in your body, you're fully invested in your work, and you're fully invested in your teammates. That is your responsibility. And we have not seen that from Zion Williamson. This is something I addressed with Zion in front of the team. This is going back to his rookie year. This just shows a complete lack of investment in your team, in the organization, in the city. I get that he's hurt and away from the team, but you just traded for one of the 50 best players in the league, a guy that's supposed to be paired with you. Reach out and say hello. This is a pattern of behavior with Zion that we are seeing again and again. I was his teammate. I can describe him as a detached teammate. That right there is an accurate statement. CJ McCollum and JJ Redick, on the respective teams that they've been on throughout their respective NBA careers, have been the faces of some of those teams. They have been the leaders of those teams. So for them to say these things, it's quite alarming for Zion Williamson, who we know as a vivacious personality who always has that big smile. But right now, doesn't seem like that smile is translating to his Pelicans teammates. What we do know is that Zion isn't sold on a future with the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Pelicans aren't sold on a future that includes Zion Williamson. Yesterday, as we record this on Wednesday, they sent out their season ticket packages. Zion Williamson wasn't even included on it. What we also want to know is, could Los Angeles make a swing for one of the most dominant players in the NBA when he's healthy, swing for the fences, and could Zion be interested in going to LA like so many other players across the NBA? Malik Monk said it best. This is the team that people want to play for. Could this happen with Zion? We'll see. Should the Lakers look into trading for Zion Williamson? That's my question for you on today's show. Type Y for yes, type N for no. And if you're new to us here at Chat Sports, we love our audience engagement and audience interaction. So get your votes in, get that comment section popping, and have a friendly back and forth about Zion right now. Now, when you talk about Zion Williamson, you talk about a couple of different things, and a lot of these can be true at the same time. He's a great player. He's a dominant player. The way he plays physically, the way that he can jump and just overwhelm opponents really does remind you physically of what Shaq was able to do in the early 2000s when he was playing alongside Kobe Bryant in Los Angeles. But on the other side of that, my biggest concern during the evaluation process coming out of Duke, how would the body hold up given the way that he plays and the level of explosion in which he plays with, considering he's a pretty big dude and people had weight concerns coming out of college, and those weight concerns have not gone away. This is what we do know, though, folks. When Zion Williamson is healthy, he's an absolute monster, and he can take over games by his lonesome. Now, hasn't been able to stay on the floor in a consistent way. Hopefully, that gets figured out over time because it's good for basketball and it's good for him to have a player like this. 2019-20, only played 24 games, 27.8 minutes per game, but in that amount of time to run, he still averaged 22.5 points per game while connecting on 58% of his field goals. I'd like to see him become a better one-on-one defender. I'd like to see him become a better shooter, but last year he didn't have to shoot, and he still physically just overwhelmed cats on the basketball floor. Minutes went up from about 28 to 33, averaged 27 points per, 7+ rebounds, little less than 4 dimes, and he shot 61% from the floor. And really, we thought, okay, Zion Williamson, year 3, going to be able to be dominant. That's what we thought this past summer, especially when the Pelicans made some of those moves in NBA free agency, bringing in a Devontae Graham and trading for Jonas Valanciunas, and then the foot injury surfaced once more. Now, if the Lakers make a trade for Zion, if they make a signing of little significance, of big significance, whatever happens with this basketball team on the news and rumors front, we have you covered right here on the Los Angeles Lakers Report. So make sure you hit that big red button down below, and also hit that bell, turn on those notifications. Therefore, every time we push out a video like this, you will be notified. Now, if the Lakers make a move, it won't be cheap. And honestly, we're going to go back to the problem that we've been discussing over the last month and change. The Lakers don't have a lot of player and draft assets to give up for Zion Williamson. Let's say, though, another injury happens to Zion and his trade value diminishes. Does that then open up the door for the Lakers to make a move by trading away Talen Horton-Tucker, who they just signed to that 3-year, $30 million contract? Now, they would have to trade away after signing Malik Monk, but a young player shooting 40% from 3. And how about 2 future first-round picks? This is basically operating under the premise that Zion's injury issues continue, and the teams across the NBA say, you know what, red flags, the medicals, they don't check out. We're not giving up a big package for Zion. Then that opens up the window for the Lakers to make their move. Now, would you make this deal if those circumstances rang true? Once more, get into the comment section. You let me know. Be the GM. Maybe you're a better one than Rob Pelinka. If so, show me. Type T for trade, type P for pass. Let me know what you would do with this trade in the comment section right now. Next up on the show, a couple things to get to with LeBron James, including Kyle Rittenhouse suing him. We'll get to that on the tail end. Is LeBron forcing his hand with the Lakers right now? There's been a couple of subtle messages from him during the All-Star break, as well as what Rich Paul had said over the last couple of days. We'll get to that coming up, but first, how about another fresh Lakers swag deal? These Lakers hats up to 40% off. And yeah, if you're living in Los Angeles, I lived in Burbank for a summer. Best summer of my life, by the way. The weather, it's always cushy. But no matter where you live, if it's cold or hot, you can always rock a hat. That's why we're hooking you up, thanks to our friends at Fanatics. A couple of different styles, and some of these hats available for up to 40% off, but only if you plug in our link, thanks to Fanatics. It's chatsports.com/Lakers hats. I'm going to put that link in the comment section, as well as the description of this video. Back to LeBron. Here's what his best friend Brian Windhorst said. What James is doing is likely aimed at one primary goal: force the Lakers into major action this summer. He tried to do it nicely, and now he's doing it harshly. James has never cared about draft picks, present or future. He's had occasional interest in developing young teammates, adopting a few over the years, but he's never had a problem saying goodbye if shipping them out makes a move closer to getting to that Larry O'Brien trophy. He plays for now and always wants to win the championship in the season that he's in. You don't make it to 8 straight NBA finals, 10 of them over a 13-year span, while switching teams 3 times by focusing only on the long term. James demands his teams to operate this way. He brings it every day and expects everyone else to as well. That absolutely includes management. And that type of drive and competitiveness is what made Kobe Bryant great. It's what what made Michael Jordan be great. And that's what makes LeBron James great. That's why these guys are in the conversation for the best players of all time, with MJ at the top of the mantle. But now, give me your one-word reaction to the LeBron James talk this past week. Surprised? Saw it coming? For me, impatient. All backing up with what Brian Windhorst had to say. LeBron's starting to get impatient. He wants another championship. He's chasing Jordan. He's only a couple rings away. He wants to hoist another Larry O.B. because he knows what it does for his legacy to win yet another championship with the Los Angeles Lakers, and for him, winning yet another ring. Last news item to get to on today's show, and I'm sure that people are going to go off in the comments section. This, according to the Washington Examiner, that Kyle Rittenhouse is suing LeBron James for defamation. Now, I used to cover local news in Pennsylvania, and cases like these are pretty fascinating on multiple degrees. They take a long time to play out in court. In this instance, it's interesting because Kyle Rittenhouse is basing his defamation suit against LeBron James based on a tweet. But because LeBron James has millions of followers, and because this tweet got retweeted thousands and thousands of times, that's why Kyle Rittenhouse is claiming defamation against LeBron James. As for what LeBron had to say in the tweet, this was after Kyle Rittenhouse was really emotional and crying in the courtroom. In this court case, say whatever you want about it. I'm going to stay away from that because I don't get political as a person. But LeBron did say, "What tears? I didn't see one. Man, knock it off. That boy ate some lemon heads," before walking into court with some crying emojis. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse can kind of take an approach of claiming like emotional damages because LeBron has such a large following, and he can claim that people have been harassing him in person and on social media with what LeBron said. I don't think that he has a chance of winning this defamation suit, but it's somewhat interesting, and the reason that we're passing this along, it's going to make headlines across the news circle. Now, there's a big reason why I got out of the local news business, and I'm here at Chat Sports. What I'm doing right now is much better than what I was doing, and I'm much happier doing it. Now, I do want to ask you this, though. Let me know where you're at. Your one-word reaction to this LeBron James lawsuit news. It could get volatile in the comments section. I often say the comments section and social media is a cesspool. Maybe it turns into that, but I want to hear from you. And thanks for watching today's show. We're just passing along the latest Lakers news.